welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I think I'm finally thawed out from last night. A little windburnt and everything, but I'm good now.
Yeah, it was cold in the press box, but so we talk about on this podcast building the community and really interacting with the people that listen to us. So our guest today is an example of that. And what I mean by that is, what was it? 3, 4 days ago, I saw our guest follow us on our podcast. And I reached out, thanked him like I always do. And, you know, I was like, okay. And then I was talking to some of our friends in the press box, and they're like, oh, I know who this guy is. They're all down the Philadelphia area. And I'm like, they're like, you need to have him on the podcast. I'm like, okay, I'm going to reach out and see. So our guest today is Tim Furlong. And Tim is a report for NBC 10, Philadelphia. He is the first ever licensed drone pilot by NBC 10, 4-time Emmy Award winner, professor of communications at Widener University, which, as you know, I started my college coaching career at back in, what was that, 2014, and an avid Philadelphia sports fan. So, Tim, thank you for coming on, because this is one of these instances as people in the podcasting community, you make a connection. Next day, you're on a podcast and sharing a story. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be with you guys. I'm fans now. So I've become fans of you guys. As I become a deeper Union fan, you sort of branch out and you see all the cool people that you get to meet. And that's the beauty of the whole Union experience, more than even the other sports, I think, is that you do get to, it's just a really strong community. It's not the biggest community, it's growing, but it's fun to see it grow and meet new people and have fun with it.
Absolutely. That's one thing that we've always loved about it. And, I'm 5 for 5 in my fandom, but I've gotten so much more into the Union than the other teams that I followed my whole life, because just that community, it's huge. It's a small community, but it's hugely important to me. It's we have met so many people, and just seeing everyone at the tailgate last night, for instance, reminded me of, man, I missed that. And it's something special.
And only Union fans say 5 for 5. It drives me nuts when you hear WIP radio. People are like, "Oh, I'm a 4 for 4 fan." I'm like,
Oh, right.
"Oh, so you're not including the Flyers?" Or you try to it's try to jam the Union in there just a little bit. So it's I'm glad to hear 5 for 5. I like that.
It really is. And of course, I'm a 1 for 5 fan, so let's all not judge me. But no, I think Kevin Kincaid had hit on the head when he told us once when he was on the show that, the 5 for 5 thing really is truly, Philadelphia needs to support all life. It's not even like the Wings, it's the soul, just if you're a Philadelphia fan, be a Philadelphia fan.
Yeah. The Water Dogs, they're just running
Water Dogs, all that.
So, ultimately we're pulling for the laundry, as I think Jerry Seinfeld once said. It's like anybody wearing Philly laundry is good by me. So it's cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jillian, what are we wearing today?
I am wearing my newest piece of merch, I guess. I didn't go in the team store last night because it was just crazy crowded. I could barely get through
because it was heated.
Of course. Oh, that too. That and the bathrooms.
Well,
there's some places to be, right?
Yeah.
But no, the line was incredibly long, but just trying to get through the concourse was crazy. So I'm like, I guess I'll pass, because I doubt there'd be anything new. But recently I got the new hockey style sweatshirt that the Union put out. So definitely a big fan. I saw a lot of people wearing this yesterday. But I think it's really cute, and
it is, and I love it. And I
material.
just saw it. It's funny you say that. I was gonna just buy something today, and I saw that heavily on sale compared to what I saw it for at the store the other day. It was $71.99. Like, I might pull the trigger and just get that, because I love it too. It's great.
Yeah, I actually got it on online with a 20% discount.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I usually will do, is I'll go in the store and see how much stuff is there, and you get a 5% or something season ticket member discount.
Right.
So I kind of see okay, what's going to be the better deal?
Right.
Then you have to pay shipping a lot of times for these things, so it's which is better. But
I live in Delaware, so we get free sales tax, so we end up, it just
Oh.
balances the tax basically.
Nice.
No, and Tim, I grew up as a hockey fan. Like, so the Hershey Bears, I follow them adamantly. Like, I grew up in York. Me and my buddies used to have season tickets. We'd leave swim practice, go up, watch the Bears games. So Jillian will tell you, my biggest collection outside of Union jerseys now is the hockey jersey collection of the Calgary Flames and the Hershey Bears.
Yeah, and we actually do agree on the Hershey Bears too. But if they're playing like the Phantoms, then I cheer for the
The only
Phantoms.
thing I got,
gotta go local.
Yeah.
the only thing I got a problem with is the fan yoke there, but that's just me being nitpicky. I mean, I'd like to see the cream on the fan yoke
Mhm.
as a hockey jersey snob, but it's a nice jersey.
Yeah.
And I really am jealous you got that.
Yeah, well, I know you're really jealous, but tell us
Seeing
what
on
you're
Jillian
wearing.
now, I might as soon as we're done, I might just pull the trigger. I was just perusing, but now I might. I do
I
like.
think you should. It's really nice quality sweatshirt. Like
It's
I
it's
know.
comfortable.
really
Yeah, it's
comfy.
great.
This
It,
and the light blue like Live Breathe football sweatshirt that came out last season, like that I have worn so much. I wore it last night, helped me stay so much warmer, but that's a really good purchase too that
Yeah.
I have zero regrets about. But I think this is my next favorite sweatshirt. Kyle, share what you're wearing because this one's pretty good.
I mean, I'm wearing a Mikel Ua practice jersey I got at the
Locker
locker
and sale.
sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my. So for everybody that knows, I'm a big fan. I followed Mikel when he was at Brøndby. Saw his style play when he won the Golden Boot, and because anytime Mikel scores a goal, I always will wear an Ua jersey, shirt, or anything. So yeah, I mean, it fits great.
I
It,
like that it has a little like thing you put your thumb through
so
too.
Tim,
Those are fun.
anytime the union
Yeah.
have a locker room sale, go.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. That's pretty sweet. Like, so wait, that's his gear?
Yeah.
Is it
That's
like,
it's it's a kit that he wore during a training,
that's
apparently.
pretty cool.
Hmm.
So, and you can get them. I mean,
Yeah.
you're
I gotta
gonna
find the
pay.
right guy because I gotta find somebody tall. I'm pretty tall, so I gotta make sure I get the right size guy.
I mean, that's the other thing too. I mean, a lot of these things have their sizes, but they're in, numbers. So they'll have the chart there if you want that. And like I'll say, like, okay, this size is XYZ.
Well, I have to find out. But I found out that Andre Blake is kind of my neighbor. He lives like a
Oh,
neighborhood for me.
Well, he lives in Delaware. Yeah,
yeah.
we knew
Yeah,
that.
and I kind of know where he lives, and I'm hoping like we be like my sort of fanboy fantasy is that like we become buddies at Dunkin' Donuts, and like we just start hanging out, and he's like, "Hey man, let me give you this cool kit I have," or whatever. He's really
Nice.
skinny, but maybe I can
Yeah.
make something work.
Right.
Right. And Jillian loves jerk chicken. And so I don't know if you noticed, Tim, he has a restaurant in Jamaica. It's Andre
No, I didn't know
Blake's.
that.
Yep.
He needs to open one up in the Philly area. Oh my
So
goodness.
why don't you inform him?
Or North
Yeah.
Wilmington, Delaware. I mean, like let's just
Yeah.
do it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Andre, open up Andre Kickout in North Delaware.
Yep,
Yeah.
no problem there. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
he has a
looks like
big place in his hometown, Jamaica, and it's apparently a really popular spot.
the menu looks really good too. So
We have
love
a
that.
great soccer pub, Stoney's. The owner's
Mhm.
Mike Stone. He was on Diners,
Yeah,
Drive-Ins.
yeah.
That's right near my house. He's from Leeds, huge Leeds fan. I might have to go there Wednesday, actually. I teach at University of Delaware Wednesday night, but I might have to go there for the Leeds Chelsea game because that's kind of our thing. That's my Premier League team. And but if you could get Andre to open up, there's a little place for rent right next to Stoney's. That would be like a great that'd be worth me walking across Concord Pike to go pick up some fish and chips, some Jamaican jerk chicken, and bring that home. I'm down with that.
All right. So Andre Blake, if you're listening to this, please, please open up a restaurant up in our area. That would be amazing. So Tim, what are you wearing?
Yeah.
I went with the away kit. I love the away kit. I didn't love it at first, but it has grown on me. And not just because I'm a huge fan of Thomas's English muffins, which I am, especially the cinnamon raisin ones. I'm gonna be putting it all out there. But I love it. And then for my birthday last year, which kind of sort of goes into we've kind of come full circle on soccer. Not even full circle, but we have rediscovered soccer as a family. And this was my birthday present for my wife, and back in August, and because we'd started going to a bunch of games. And if you want to get into it, like the story of how we kind of got into soccer as a family is pretty cool, and it's very recent. Like I've always liked soccer, and I've always liked playing FIFA since I was a kid on Xbox and you know, everything, PlayStation. But we went to the Chelsea Brighton game over the summer because I'm a Chelsea fan from FIFA. Um, and my son was at Stamford Bridge the other day because he's studying abroad. But anyway, but so we all went to the Chelsea game. They loved it. They thought it was the greatest thing. They loved the global fan base. They love it's a smart crowd, knowledgeable crowd, respectful crowd. And then literally like the next day, my wife's like, that was so much fun. We need to go to Union games. So we went to the Leagues Cup that was there that week. And then we went to another one, and then another one. And then we went to a couple MLS regular season games. And we were at the final playoff game at home. And my wife's like, we're nuts. Like, why are we not just buying season tickets? So we bought season tickets. We actually bought them with the chance to get the Messi game right at that point. But we were driving down to see my son at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And we were on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and we had gotten this thing saying, you're qualified. All you have to do is fill out the thing. And then we were on the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, and my wife is frantically with the phone, and we lost internet, and that was our chance to get the tickets. So we missed out, but it's all good. And now we're season ticket holders, and we're super excited. And she's got jerseys and sweatshirts and jackets now, and it's going to be a fun season.
Awesome. Yeah, I love it. It's funny because I can't tell you how many people we've talked to that they went to a game and they were hooked, like, oh, this is great. This is so much fun. We were the same way. So we started going to the games in 2019, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have much of an interest in soccer before that. And I went, I was like, oh, this is great. And rest is history. He was always into soccer, but
You have to
Yeah.
see it in
yeah,
person. I tell everybody, it's
yeah.
like NASCAR and ice hockey. You have to see it at least once in person to appreciate. When you see it from high up and far back, you don't see the speed, the hitting. I mean, really, if you like
Hmm.
hitting, it's very aggressive, and
Yeah.
footwork is unbelievable. So when you see it in person, and if you go to the right games where like, last night was awesome. I mean, even though it was cold, it was so much fun to be at the home opener because everybody was so geeked up and stuff. It's just a great game. It's a great family game. A lot of people have kids who play soccer. And then for some reason they get to a certain age, it's like, oh, I guess we can't like soccer anymore. But the Union have given us a huge reason to take your family and enjoy a relatively affordable night out. I mean, really. And even the season ticket thing was sort of a surprisingly fair price deal, even like the parking and how they structure it and how they bill
Mm-hmm.
you for it. I mean, listen, I've paid for my tickets. I have no dog in this fight. I'm just a customer. But they run a good ship. We've enjoyed it. We've thought everything about it's been great. By the way, I covered for NBC 10. I was at Tirnanog in Philly when they announced that they got a team. Like that's how long I've been following this.
Hmm.
Somewhere I have a scarf from the day they announced and they unveiled the logo and everything. So somewhere I have all this stuff. And it was just one of those things that it's like I went to a couple games over the years, friends went, and stuff. And my soccer coach from St. Thomas the Apostle in Glen Mills, they've had season tickets since day one. And they're just you get hooked, but you take your kids. That's all I can say is take your kids once, you're gonna go back. That's all there is to it.
So you knew about the Rome project and all that, like even before 2000, like 10. So you knew
Yeah, well,
about
we knew we had heard like rumblings, and Carl Churkin, who works with the union,
right,
who's a really nice guy. He used to be on Fox 29, and I knew him from when he was on Fox, and I kind of knew he was involved. And like again, it wasn't like I wasn't on the union beat or anything. That was just a
right.
story that was coming out, and I get to do a lot of the cool. I get to do a lot of the fun sports related stories because I'm a big sports fan. So like when the Eagles go to London, I got to go. I go to the Super Bowls and stuff. But I knew something was going on, and I remember thinking like, this doesn't sound like it's going to be like as big as like DC United. And little did I know, it absolutely was, is, and now is bigger. So at least in my mind.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
So what was I never asked anybody this because I've only talked to one other person and they kind of just touched on it. But what was that opening day in 2000? Well, let's go back to the announcement. What was the announcement like? What was the impact, just the overall atmosphere like?
Well, the Sons of Ben guys, like, really were
Yeah,
like, they were like in on it from the beginning.
right.
Like, I mean, I don't know that any fan base has ever brought a team to a city before like they did. They so clearly demonstrated I mean, the ultimate cliche, if you build it, we will show up, we will come.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And they did it. They lived up to it. I mean, not even, I mean, and they still do. So it's just an amazing story of a fan base that made something happen that was so powerful. And by the way, I think that has led us to get, all these internationals that have come here. I think,
Mhm.
Mhm.
we NBC 10, we have a Telemundo station also. So we're like really in tune with like the Latino community and how much they love soccer, football. And but I think the Sons of Ben guys, like a lot of the soccer stuff that is happening now, even the World Cup coming here, I think really like they helped prove to the world, like, hey, we're a soccer city. And if you show up,
Mhm.
we're into it. It's not everybody, but I don't think everybody's into Flyers hockey either, by the way, until it gets
No.
to playoffs and then it swells, the bandwagon swells.
Mhm.
I think soccer here is kind of like that. But I think the union's attendance will tell you that they're getting even the non-Sons of Ben fan. I mean, we decided not to do that because I don't know, at 49, I'm the stand the whole game kind of guy.
Mhm.
And also, like, I plan on bringing my dad who's in his 70s. Like, I don't know that they'd be as into that level of intensity. So we got,
Mhm.
section 113, come see us, me and the
Yeah.
wife if they're there. But and we love it because again, it's a community feel, and there's no bad seats, so
Mhm.
you can't get a bad seat in that stadium. So unless
No,
you're the Chicago guys that were standing up last night the whole time, and security had to come and like be like, guys, you got to sit down, like you gotta like stop. I was like, why are you guys so needy, man? Like, I mean, like just stop pandering for attention. They haven't
no.
heard about Philly fans, by the way. Like, if that were an Eagles game, like those guys would have been like, it could have gotten a lot uglier than it did. Union fans are a little more civil, I think.
No. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
It
within
depends.
reason.
so I will say this. You need to go to a River End game at least once in your life. Now, my dad said I'm 44. My dad's 70. 70. What's he now? He's going to be 75. He's always a year older than me. So he's going to the Minnesota game, and Jillian's going to go up in the probably going to go up to the press box. We'll see.
Yeah.
But and then me and my dad will. But he was there last. What was it? The Toronto game in 2022.
Yeah, decision day game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
decision day game, and he stood the whole time and he
Yeah.
chanted and he said
Mhm.
he's a big Penn State guy, and he said this is
Yeah, so he
it,
knows passion
he
and
he's like this is the most fun I've had in a
Yeah.
while, and
yeah.
I will say this to anybody, like families, anybody, go sit in River End one time. It's not for
Stand in
everybody.
the river and go.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's fun to
it's
experience
not
it.
for
Yeah.
everybody, but
yeah.
the passion you really want to experience the Philadelphia Union fan base, go into River End.
I was
Yeah.
there, I covered the Messi game. And
Oh.
so
Okay.
being in the River End for that, when they're booing him, the GOAT,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
Was.
somebody's like, isn't that disrespectful? I'm like, no, that is just like what we do. Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he should, on some level, I hope that someone has explained to him that, dude, this is like a huge badge of honor that they have to boo you because you're the GOAT. Tom
Yeah.
Brady gets it. You're getting it. Anybody, if Bryce Harper weren't on the Phillies, he'd be getting it.
Mhm.
Right.
He'd get it when he was in Washington. I mean, that's what we do. And you should be just, all you can do is cheer back at the crowd and say, thanks for thinking this hard of me.
Yeah, no, we were on vacation and we had to sell our tickets for the Messi game. And
Oh,
I said to our friends that were in there, I'm like, please boo him for me, like extra loud for me, because I'm so sad I don't get to be there to boo Messi. Come on now. That made me sad that I was
I
there for that.
I just remember my friends up in press box sending me videos and just the boos. It was like the loudest boo I've ever heard. And
it was neat. It was cool though. And even like before the game and stuff, but like to his credit, like he signed autographs for people. Like,
right.
he couldn't have been any more gracious. He knew they were
Mhm.
booing him and stuff. And it almost felt like somebody had told him what to expect. but
Mhm.
he was cool with it. Like you know, and again, to see him play in person, what struck me is he looks like he doesn't care, and then he does something infinitely magical, and you're like, oh my, like how did he? I mean, do you see him dribble over a guy who was laying on the ground the other day? It's like,
Yeah.
how, what just happened there? Like you can't play it back enough, and Apple TV does not make it that easy to. I'm not going to
Yeah.
get into that.
Yeah,
My
right.
frustrations with that.
I mean, we could, but yeah, let's not. No, I remember probably 10 years ago, a coach that had played professional said to me once that Messi sees the game 4 plays before it happens. He knows everything, and I think it was Maradona said that of when he, saw Messi coming up, said he sees the game better than I will ever see it, and anything I ever know. So the thing that really impresses me about Messi is everybody talks about Ronaldo. Ronaldo's a great striker,
Yeah.
but Messi is so humble. So you almost feel bad booing him, but at the same time, it's like boo, boo, boo,
Yeah. I don't
boo.
feel
Yeah,
that bad.
you're
I
right,
don't feel that
right.
bad about doing anybody.
No, but
I
I
mean,
mean, I think we're watching, like, I grew up hearing about Pele, and
yeah.
we all talk about Pele, 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 for what he did for American soccer. I will say if this works out, and I really hope MLS delivers on this, this could change American soccer. And we're seeing what locals like Christian Pulisic are doing and the rest of the Americans are doing over in
Yeah.
Europe. 2026 could be the coming out party for America.
Yeah,
Eh,
this is a really big
yeah,
opportunity for the soccer scene.
Yeah,
And
I'd love to see us get some of these guys when they're a little younger. Like, I don't want it to be you
right.
get when you're 36. Like, Pulisic coming back now would be great. And again, some of these guys would be rock stars. I mean, imagine if Messi played here. I mean,
Mhm.
the rock star that he'd be. He would be anywhere. And some of these guys, there's a language barrier. So, like, say, like Mbappe just said, "Hey, we're gonna give you like I'm gonna do charity for a year. I'm gonna go play for an American team, in MLS." It would be so big. Like some of these guys like would be treated like gods. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine like Neymar or Mbappe in LA. Again, I don't know that here for the Union, like they'd be so good. I mean, I don't know, maybe they would. They'd be hanging out with like, the professional athletes in the city. And
Mhm.
I think even that, by the way, is really good. I think when these NBA guys are buying into like teams and stuff,
Yeah.
Right.
you're getting people, even like Reese Witherspoon buying into a team. Like, I mean, stuff like that. You hear it and you're like, yeah, okay, like it you just got to get more people to the party. And everybody then goes, well, geez, if Kevin Durant's at the party and Reese Witherspoon and, one day Taylor Swift buys part of the union or whatever it is, you're just like, even people that are not into soccer. And it's not, and some people go like, well, do we really want those people here? And I think you do. I think the bigger we
Mhm.
make this thing, the better for everybody. It's going to start, our season tickets costs are going to go up a bit, but that might be a good problem to have if our level of soccer is that great. But it's funny though, people don't understand. I did a podcast with this guy who is from Leeds because I was like, following Brendan Aronson, so
Right.
that, and I tweeted about him, and he found me and he's like, oh, come on my podcast, and he's like, so have you ever met any of these MLS, the union guys? I'm like, yeah, yeah. I mean, I go down to practice sometimes, cover,
Mhm.
and like when they get on the street, are they just mobbed? I'm like, this is gonna be a hard thing to tell you, but I don't think anybody knows these guys. Pulisic maybe would have been that guy. But the Aronsons, like, I don't think they walk down a street in Philadelphia and anybody knows who they are. Maybe Andre. It's going to be individuals that might pick him out, but Messi gets swarmed, but it's not like that here. And like people don't get it. It's not, in Leeds, if Brendan Aronson walked down the street in Leeds when he was there, or Patrick Bamford or, one of their big stars, they're going to get mobbed. But that's what they have there. It's hard to explain to people. The stadium's in Chester. We have the Eagles, we have the
Mhm.
Phillies, even the
Mhm.
Flyers guys, really. I mean, some of those guys will be known, but some of those guys are going to walk down the street and they're not going to be bothered. You know what I mean?
No. No, and I think it brings up a fair point. Like Pulisic, if he, let's say hypothetically, he won't. I don't think he will. I hope he does, but if he comes back, sure, he'll get mobbed. I think really, and I'd love to hear your take on this. I think what the union really need to do is continue to get these guys that are young, talented, but maybe come up from that blue collar where they get the environment. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah, like those guys that are just scrappy, but also like I think Ernst has hit on a lot, and we had this discussion the other night that Ernst sells low with buys low with big investments. And that's fine. I mean, I think if you're gonna buy big, you gotta get those guys that understand that blue collar that, yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna walk around, but people aren't gonna know who you are.
Until they do, until like
Exactly.
yeah. And I think it's two different discussions. The MLS side of it, from like a soccer success, would be have guys in your academy that come up and you buy them cheap and they come in, or they come up through the academy and they play for you and you get a few great years out of them and hopefully they stay. And if they're so good that they don't stay, hopefully you get something for them, like from a European team. But from a overall MLS fan excitement, global recognition, I think there has to be a balance of bringing up your stars and home growing guys to save your money, but then also injecting some craziness in terms of like maybe not Messi level, but you got to get these guys like that because people outside of soccer have to see, or even people in Europe have to see. And the Saudis are sort of stealing everybody's thunder right now because they're just throwing endless money. But like, if you could get like some of these guys that go there to come here instead, maybe the Saudi thing tapers off because I mean, like seriously, I don't even know where to watch Saudi soccer. Like Ronaldo, I
I
haven't seen Ronaldo since he's played for Manchester United. So it might be great for them. They might tell you they made a great decision, but and the players, I don't blame them for taking the money. But in terms of like the health of soccer, and certainly here in America, like I mean, you saw what Beckham did for soccer here. You see
right.
what Messi's doing for soccer here. If you get more guys to buy in, but again, I don't know how that works. And again, it's a weird thing too. Like I go back and forth like with this TV deal thing because like I would love it if NBC 10 somehow became like the official station of the union. Like that would just from a personal, that would just be fun for me. But like when it was on channel 17, for instance, you could stumble on the games. Now on Apple, you can't stumble on anything because it's an app. You can't switch
Yeah.
around because they're all on at the same time, which bothers me. Like, why do you not make it like every day of the week you have like a featured MLS game and then a few on the weekend, all staggered at time? So when you get home from a game, there's another game to watch. Premier League is on all the time on the weekends here. Like I wake up, put it on all day long. Yeah, Premier League, Carabao Cup today. But I MLS, they got so many new members for Apple TV with Messi around the world. That's great for them, but I don't know that it does anything for us here. I don't know that that does enough to get more local people excited about the union because again, you can't stumble on the union and be like, "Hey, this is that playoff game I saw Tim talking about on the news." And I
Right.
had people say that to me. Like they're like, "I saw your story. I was so excited to watch, but like where can I watch?" And like even if there was like a way to like for certain games like the teams can like buy like 1,000 one-time giveaway watch views or like little gift cards for views or virtual gift cards, it would just get more people to like have a chance to stumble on. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, back in 2022, when we were going on, that run, I knew people that started tuning in, they could just catch it on regular cable or whatever. People who didn't really follow it all before, they started catching on to it. And we went out to LA for the cup and everything. And then I had people text me, "Oh, I'm watching it," and I'm like, "Oh, you're actually watching the game?" Like, I didn't even know you followed them at all and knew about the union. And, so like people
Yeah.
were really starting to buy into it though.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then it's all of a sudden, oh, well, people don't want to spring for, the MLS package on Apple TV.
Well,
So I mean,
I fought it too. Like last year, we had Apple TV basically for Ted Lasso, and then we never
same.
watched anything. And it started only because we got new phones and like they gave us 3 months free,
Right.
and then we never
Mhm.
canceled it. And then I wasn't gonna get it. And I was disappointed because I really wanted to watch Union games. And then but I can't, it was hard for me to buy into this like upcharge on top of Apple TV.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, so it was frustrating. Then when Messi came, I'm like, oh man, dang it. I'm just gonna do it. And they had prorated it down halfway by then because it was like
Yeah.
midway through the season. So I mean, it was fine. And I do like that when we got the season tickets, I didn't know this time, but they give you the MLS package built into your season ticket, which is a very smart thing to do. Let us watch the away games. We're buying into the home games. Let us watch the away games. But again, I still, if Apple TV is a fan of this podcast, I'm begging you, Apple TV, stagger the games. Unless you're going to do like a red zone where you're bouncing around. Like I can't learn about the other teams when I'm watching my own team. So like just like I want to see Seattle play. I want to see Columbus play. Other teams. So just for the love of God, just like stagger them a little bit more. Put one on a Thursday night. You're not competing with the NFL right now. So like they should mix it up. Not only that, like didn't the Union, you guys know better than I, didn't they used to have more like day games? Like a Saturday 2 o'clock, Saturday or Sunday 2 o'clock game was like spot. Like that would be so much fun, and they don't do that enough anymore. So I don't know. Like that seems like it would be a good idea. But
no, we remember.
I haven't been around long enough to complain like that. Not really a complaint.
No, I hear
you're
you.
preaching to the choir because this is conversations with a lot of us in the media community. This is a lot of conversations in the fan community. I mean, when we started going our first season ticket, I mean, you and I remember getting up, going to leave at what time? Like 10, 11 a.m. Here, we're in Lancaster, PA, so it takes us an hour and a half. I mean, we remember those day games, and then getting home at 10 o'clock
or
going
2 years ago was the day game.
Well, even before that, just like.
But yeah, I just did like
going to see our friends afterwards in Lancaster and spreading the word. Hey, where were you guys? Oh man, we just came from the Union. You got to come down to a game.
Yeah.
And I had an interesting conversation last night in the press room with a predominant writer for the Inquirer. And he basically said to me, these games in February, March is 7:30 a.m. I get that the money aspect, prime time, 7:30, that's going to get the families out. But is it going to get the casual fan out?
No.
Who wants to go freeze their butt off in February?
Exactly. And
I don't even know about the family thing. I mean, like, I guess like the family thing, like maybe like because some kids have youth sports and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's all the time. I have hockey family friends that their kids have 5 a.m. games and 10 p.m. games. And like, but like if you put it like in like at 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you're going to get the people come out, you have a beer, you get something to eat, you make an afternoon of it, but then you can still go home and have Saturday night. You can go out to dinner. You can come home. And what I'd like to do is come home and watch more freaking MLS.
Yeah,
exactly. And that's
like, I want to come home and watch more games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, and just the plain and simple fact that, it is cold in February and March. It was really nice yesterday during the tailgate that, we were at the Sons of Ben tailgate. It was actually not so bad out at that point. So, that would have been a great time to have the game or have at that time.
You guys keep looking down. Like, I feel like a wolf is attacking you off the side of the screen. I get worried about you.
Oh, we're good.
We're good. No, I lost my connection there for a second.
No, so
I just had this fear of God look in your eyes off to the side, like something was attacking them.
No. I lost my connection. Couldn't hear you. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wolves of Lancaster or something like that.
No, for once it wasn't one of like our cats.
So we have a funny story. So one of our first guests we had on, big former Union player, and we're interviewing, having a great interview, and one of our cats come through and knock off everything.
His tail was like, happy cat tail.
There's a picture of me.
Yeah, I told my wife, my wife's upstairs, we have a beagle. My kids are both in college, but my wife, my beagle, like if she sees a fox go by, she's gonna freak out. So I told her, I'm like, your job when I'm on this podcast is you got to keep Maggie, keep her from going crazy.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Union versus Fire game yesterday. If you don't mind sharing, what was your pregame experience like yesterday?
It was good. I ended up taking a friend from my wife she wasn't feeling great anyway. And then when it was going to be that cold, we're like, maybe this isn't great. So I took a friend of mine from NBC 10 actually, who just came back from a bit of a personal illness kind of thing. So I hadn't seen him in person in a while. So it was really fun to catch up, and he's doing great. So we kind of got there a little later than I would have wanted to, but we went out and we ran into some friends. Our graphics guy, who's like this graphics genius,
Hmm.
for NBC, he is a season ticket holder. So we ran into him and we hung out with he and his wife and the whole thing. And we just kind of like walked around, just took it all in again, like just, you know, even from a few months ago, some things have changed, some new food items, some new this, some new that. And I met my season ticket rep guy who I hadn't met yet because they switched. So I
Yeah.
saw his name tag. I'm like, hey, I know you and you know me. So that was kind of cool. And again, just soaked in that sort of community atmosphere. I like being there pregame to see practice. Like I was the kid that liked to see batting practice at the Phillies. Like I just think that's kind of cool.
It is.
So I like seeing the guys running around and yeah, it's just such like like you say, it's just a great atmosphere and people. I want people to give it a try. And in fact, I can't go. I teach at Widener on Monday nights, University of Delaware on Wednesday nights. So on Tuesday nights, I'm like, I gotta come home. Like I'm fried. So I can't go to the Saprissa game on Tuesday. So I gave the tickets to a guy at work who I know he and his son would go, and I know they don't go a lot. And I'm just like, I want you to I don't want your money. I don't want any. Just go and have fun.
Right.
All I want to know is that there's butts in my seats because I don't want ever empty seats when they're my seats. And I just want you to have fun with your kid. Like, I I don't care about the money. They're not that those are freebies, right? Those are like throw-in games anyway. But he was so excited to take his kid, and I'm like, and I don't know if they've ever been to one or not, but basically he was like, this is great, and like they're gonna have a blast, and
Right.
they're probably gonna want to go back and go back and go back. So my sort of NBC 10 / union community between you guys and all these other people and growing. And I do know some of the media people a little bit now, even some of the people that work for the team, like the publicist Erica. She's been
Mhm.
like nothing but super nice to me. And frankly, I think they appreciate that NBC 10 shows up to give them some coverage. I mean, we're
Yeah.
not partners with them, we're partners with the Eagles. Like we have responsibilities and they have responsibilities with us, but we just do it because we see the value of
Right.
making sure that the union gets attention, not only for us, but for our Telemundo viewers too.
Mhm.
So whenever we go down there, we always try to ask for somebody. I'll ask I speak a little bit of Spanish, but we'll ask for somebody that can speak Spanish. And so we'll get some Spanish sound too. And because we want this to work because it's just better for everybody. It's better for the whole community. And frankly,
Mhm.
I've been teaching at Widener for 20 years. Anything good that you can do for Chester is good. It's I can't explain it to people. It's so huge what the Union, Harrah's, Widener, what they've done for Chester. And I know some people are like, oh, it doesn't look like it so much. There's still problems in Chester. True. But like that sports complex the Union just made, that's going to bring
Mhm.
people there spending money, spending time. Restaurants will pop up, things. It's all just good. So let's
Yeah.
just be positive.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can see that area being kind of like what so in Lancaster we have the Spooky Nook Sports Complex, and that's been really big. Like there's been all kinds of hotels, restaurants, all this
Yep.
stuff that's sprung up around it because they have tournaments and different things there all the
Yeah.
time, and bringing in business and everything. So I mean, absolutely anything that this can bring for the Chester community is great.
I mean, coaching at Widener for a year. I mean, being there, going down the waterfront, going with my uncle to the Philadelphia racetrack when
Yeah.
it was, oh wow, this is Chester. Now seeing where it was in the '90s to now, um, it's crazy, and I do still see the value. I think this project's gonna work.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it didn't take as soon as Jay Sugarman thought it would take, but it's now getting more legs, more investors, more eyes. Obviously, we got the World Cup coming.
Yeah, I don't know that it's ever going to be like I don't
Do you
I
think it's ever going to be the grandiose idea that they
I don't I listen, I'm as optimistic as anybody about anything, but
right,
like if you build like a bunch of condos down there and you give people like marina slips and stuff, maybe, but like that's kind of what they're doing at the Navy Yard in Philadelphia. So you're competing with that.
right,
Wilmington has some stuff like that. Um, it's just and you have to go through some areas that are getting better, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
You'd have to get people in at the right price. I don't know. I don't know that all of a sudden you're gonna, but I do think you could, if they find that this sports complex has families coming in a lot, and every weekend, you could have like a Chickies and Pete's, PJ Wheelahands kind of place, or even like a non-chain
Yeah.
version of this, that maybe like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights they're open. And it's like, and they could do, the union could have birthday parties there and then stadium tours. Like that's what we did with our kids when we were little. We did like stadium tour at the ballpark for our kid's birthday, and then we go to Chickies and Pete's for lunch, or Xfinity Live. You could start to do that. Like there's a complex in Plymouth Meeting out by like IKEA off the Blue Route,
Right,
and the
right.
Villanova women's field hockey lacrosse teams play there, and they have like this double-decker field house / restaurant with like a balcony, and you can kind of oversee all the fields. Like you could do that down with the Union now. I would go there if you put something there like that on a Friday night. My wife and I, or when the kids are home, even if there's no Union game, we'd go there. It's waterfront property. There's families there, people playing soccer, adult leagues, youth leagues, and a place to get like burger and some wings, like casual kind of fun stuff with a Union theme to it. Hell yeah, we're going for sure.
Nice. What so Union draw 2-2. What were your overall thoughts of the game, the atmosphere, and just
atmosphere was great. Referees were not.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm in the Screen Actors Guild. I am a union member. I understand. I don't know enough about the fight between MLS and its referees.
Right.
And I'm not going to put down the rest. That's a tough thing. It's tough being an MLS referee.
It really is.
But those guys just look like they hadn't gotten their sea legs under them yet. I don't blame them. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be great, but it was tough. And, I didn't, from where I was sitting on the big screen, like some of the offsides didn't look like offsides. Some of the offsides did look like offsides. So I don't know. I think they called some ticky-tacky stuff on like some of like the some of the legs getting tangled, and stuff. I think that's just refs feeling like, well, we have to say something. Whereas a more not competent, that's not fair. A more experienced ref would just be, come on, man, play on. I mean, get up, let's go. And I think that's the difference. But the atmosphere I thought was great despite the cold. The crowd was into it. I think the Union do a good job with the fireworks and like all that stuff. Like I think it's all cool. I think the atmosphere beforehand is cool. It's better when it's warm. Back.
Yeah, it is.
But everything about it it felt good to be back. That's how it felt. I texted my wife and I said, like, we're going to love this. I can't wait for the next one. The only problem is the next home game, the March 9th game, is the same as Duke UNC, which is like a huge night in our house. I mean, you see, we're like, my son's a Tar Heel. We are a Tar Heel family. We hate Duke. And so that's going to be that's going to be like one where we're like, maybe we go to the game and DVR and turn all of the notifications off on our phones and then come home and we make it. We're plotting that out right now, but we'll be there, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was, I think the refs didn't know what a handball was in that game because they weren't calling any. That was frustrating, that part. But, I mean, it's just a tough situation with the whole reffing. It's making me.
Did you like the atmosphere though? Do you think it was?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. There were times when I was like, okay, we could be a little louder here. I think part of it was just people being cold and people being, ticked off at us being down and everything. But
I think jackets muffle it and stuff too.
That
like,
too.
I had my jacket pulled up and I wasn't probably as loud as I could be.
Oh, yeah. We sure got loud at the end though. I mean, it was rocking when we were in stoppage time at the end, especially.
You mean when half the crowd had already left, which don't get me started.
Oh, I know.
Oh no, I've seen tweets already today.
And look, it's like I get that's all I'm going out and whatnot, but it's like, at this point, I'm numb anyway. It's just whatever. Well, but it's so close, and we were attacking. We really, we were dominating, honestly. But it was rocking when. Well, and the thing was when Gazdag scored, I mean, what a goal that was. But oh my goodness. But like at the same time, I think some of us were like, is this one gonna stand? Because we already
it's hard to get excited.
Right? Because
I texted you. I texted you because up in the press box, we're all sitting there going, Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ooh, that's close. And then they didn't go, and we're like, all right,
Yeah.
game on.
Yeah.
No, as we were joking, when that goal went in, that place minus playoff atmosphere goal, that was probably
Yeah.
one of the loudest
hmm
like I've heard it. And
I know I
like
said
you
that to the people
said,
around me. I'm like, I haven't heard this in a while.
like half of the stadium had left, and that place was rocking. And I'm like,
And that's what's so great about
I'm
Super
like,
Park. That's like what Jim
wow.
was talking about, how it's formidable. Like when we're loud like that, oh my goodness.
And Jimmy
Yeah.
brought that up in the press box. I mean, press conference. He was like, it was really, really loud last night.
That's one
Yeah.
thing I like about him. He gets it. He
He
understands.
does.
He totally gets, like, look, I know we're not the Eagles, but our fans are great. Bring more to the table, bring your friends with you, be loud. And the players, I don't think they're just saying the right thing. I think those guys like really understand, like, no, we're not messing around. This means a lot to us. When you guys
Yeah.
are loud, it helps us. And I
Yeah.
think you saw that last night. It was a sloppy game. I thought, like, there was a lot of like, I had watched the Arsenal game in the morning, so that I was spoiled by. I mean, they were unbelievable. Their precision was off the chart.
Right.
So it looks sloppy. It looks like a team that is playing their first home game of the year in icy cold conditions against another sloppy team. So, but it got better as the game went on,
Yeah.
kind of like it did in Costa Rica. And Glesnes didn't score from 40 yards out on his own goal, so I was pretty psyched about that too.
Yeah, we've shown resiliency in these two games so far.
Yeah.
You know, fighting back, and you know, here we are in a freezing cold game. We don't have Andre Blake in goal. You know, you got Oliver Zemla having his MLS debut, the home opener, and everything. So a lot of pressure there. And he did. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, does Andre save? You know, maybe this second one, but you know, Zemla came up big at the end there too, and you know, but and that was tough. But I thought Quinn Sullivan had a remarkable game. He messed up a couple times, but for the most part, I thought he
He's
was
fun to
great.
watch.
Oh my gosh,
He
yeah,
is.
he really is. He and Nate Harriel were so good on that right side. I
Carran's
thought
is fun too,
yes.
but I don't want my wife even like going anywhere near him. Like, I don't want, like,
Uh,
that dude's like unfairly handsome. I'm like, he looks like a
oh,
Disney prince. I'm like, I'm not
oh
standing
yeah.
there.
Our friend Polemy, who's been on with us, she and I both
Yeah, I've seen the chats. Calling you on blast, Paul.
no,
Yeah.
we know a lot of people are big fans of Julian.
Yeah, my
No,
wife's around. I'm like, beat it, Prince Naveen. Get out of here.
Right?
yeah, but yeah, I thought that, I mean, some of the passing was good. I mean, Gazdag, he was real good on last night. It was great to see Mikel have that goal. I mean, that was set up so wonderfully. I thought, you know, Martinez had much better night because it wasn't so great at Saprissa, but you know, did better. Low, you know, I thought he was real good defending last night.
And that's the
Energy
thing,
was good. Their energy
It
was
was.
so good.
Yeah,
They were
And-
into it. You know, they
they
were
were.
hard. So they brought their lunch pail. So that's all I care about. You know,
Oh yeah.
I don't expect
exactly.
you to be crisp. I expect you to work hard and
Yeah.
feed off the fans, and they did that. So
Oh yeah.
I'll take the draw. I mean, I wanted to win, but I'll take the
Right.
draw.
I was at that point because I was like, it was late in the game, and I'm thinking, oh my God, is this going to be the first loss? Because we weren't at the two home losses last year.
Right.
We were at a big YMCA state meet for the Orlando game that we lost. We weren't at the messy one, as I said. But I'm like, oh no. But I'll tell you what, on I think it was a corner, and it was either on a corner or it was a set piece, like towards, you know, the Chicago goal and down on the river end side, and we're just rocking, and like, you know, players are out there on the field jumping, like hyping up the crowd, and everyone's just like going. That really stood out to me. I'm just like, yes, this is like opening day, and we are going nuts like this. This is great. That's what we need.
This was the energy we needed last year. That is all I'm going to say about that. And it was funny is the UA goal, literally, what was it? Probably 15 minutes ago, I'm having a conversation with the person saying this is our biggest signing ever. And he's a bust. And I'm like, we're all sitting there, a couple of us are sitting there going, yes, he needs to score goals, but the Carranza goal Saprissa doesn't happen if it's not for him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, exactly. and then he scores that goal, and we're all just sitting there just laugh. Like, it's like the Mr. Like, I texted her going, the Mr. Miyagi, like from Cry Kid 2, where he's just like, look at Daniel, like smiling with that big grin. Like,
the good thing about me not being like, I don't feel like I think with like American football and like baseball,
yeah,
like I play those games, like I know those games better.
yeah,
Like I feel like I'm more of an expert. It's actually like because I mean I played grade school soccer and stuff. Because I don't consider myself an expert. There's some sort of like level of bliss that for me that I don't know better. So all I can do is trust that the guys that are there for a reason, that Curtin thinks they're worthwhile to have around. And so I definitely don't get as hard on Union players as I do on Eagles players. The Eagles players are looking at it and go, that guy shouldn't even be here. Why is he on the field? Whereas Union guys, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just not seeing what he brings to the table yet, but I have faith that they're there for a reason. And then you see some of these guys do like extraordinary things. You're like, oh, I get it. Like I see it. Just
right.
saw it. There you go.
So one other question I want to ask, and we say so our guests that are in, because I went to Westchester for communications. I specialized in journalism, and my goal was to be a writer. I fell into coaching, swimming. So tell us your story. How did you get into broadcast journalism?
Yeah, I went to high school in Wilmington, Delaware, all boys Catholic school, Salesianum. Um, and it was great. And they had a TV station. But the funny thing is I never worked for the school TV station there because there was an incident involving me, two other guys, middle fingers, and a suspension.
Oh,
So I didn't get to, I was basically told by the TV teacher, you're not going to be in my class. So, but then I went to American University in Washington,
yeah.
and which is a great communication school, even better because of where it is. It was 200 yards from NBC Network Bureau at the time.
Right.
And so I got, I ended up, that was my first job working for Tim Russert with Meet the Press. And I was kind of on the producing track. I always liked TV. I always liked news. There are Philly news people that like, I was the only kid that I knew that had like favorite news people. I was like in fifth grade. Some of whom I got to work with later, which was like, so things like that. And then so I went to NBC Washington. Then I wanted to try reporting. So I went to Charlottesville, Virginia, and then I went for a few years to Providence, Rhode Island. And then my wife and I really liked it up there because she was working in Boston and I was working in Providence. And we lived in Foxborough. And we said, look, the only way we'll move from here is if we get a job in Philly because that's our home market. The day we brought my now 21-year-old son into our apartment from the hospital, my agent called and goes, dude, pack up. You're going to Philly. We're like, really? And then I went to Channel 17 and then I spent 3 years there and then went to Channel 10 and I've been there ever since 2005. And I love it. And now I actually, by choice, I shoot all my own video. I do all my own drone work, 360 cameras. There's 99.99999% of what you see in my stories on Channel 10, I shot. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And that's what I teach at Widener and University of Delaware too. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love storytelling. I love visual storytelling. I'm a geek with technology. I love toys and drones and, fun cameras. And I'm just like, I'm crazy. I'm the dad that like my kids don't want around, like when I'm like videotaping stuff. If you go to my YouTube page, by the way, which is not like, it's just like our family stuff, but it's like our family vacation videos. Like we went to Paris and there's like, it's ridiculously sort of well produced. Like they don't look like vacation videos. Like, we go out to like lakes and rent a pontoon boat and like, there's like a drone whipping around us and stuff. And like, that's the dorky dad that I am. But I really do love what I do, even when I'm not doing it for the paycheck. And NBC has been great. NBC 10 is a great place to work. Comcast is a great owner. Like they're really supportive creatively of what we do. I know, they're the cable company to some people, but they're really a really good employer, hire a lot of veterans. Like they're really a good company to work for. I've been very happy with them. And yeah, so it's just, I just kept going with it. And I was always afraid. Everybody told us in college, well, you should plan on getting fired a few times. And knock on wood, I haven't gotten fired yet. I got laid off once, but it was a good layoff because that's something better. But I've never been fired and I just keep working hard. And at 49 years old, if I ever, my contract, I just signed another 4 years at Channel 10. If it ever ended for me anywhere, it wouldn't be because I didn't work hard enough or wasn't enthusiastic enough. You know, if you have some other reason you need to get rid of me that you may never tell me, that's one thing, but it'll never be because I didn't work hard or love what I did. And that's the thing. And you can bring in a 27-year-old version of me that doesn't love what they do. And, you know, I think that's where, you know, I think my value comes in. So I keep it going. And frankly, like I love covering this market. I love getting to go to the union. You know, I love like doing all sorts. Every day is 100% different for me. I never have 2 days in a row that are the same thing. So it's a good career. I've been very, very blessed. Trust me.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I enjoyed your preview video for the home opener that you had for the union. That was great.
That was a rare exception though, where I did a couple stand-ups down there, but I had a doctor's appointment. So they actually had somebody else shoot the press conference for me. So whereas before like the playoff game, we previewed the playoff game and I'm on the field with Andre and Erica helped me grab players and Jim came over and stuff. And so 99.999% of the time I shoot it. The 0.000001 was Friday.
So what are you looking forward to the most this season? And are you planning on doing any away trips?
You know, that's a good question. We thought about that. We want to see, my wife and I were talking, we want to see when they play in Charlotte because again, my son is studying in Dublin right now, but he goes to school in Chapel Hill. We'd like to get out and see him in Charlotte, which is like 2 hours west, and make like a Chapel Hill Charlotte trip.
Right.
I think we're going to Orlando at one point this summer. So I think we're going to again, it's just we have to like match up schedules and just see what works where. More than anything, I'm just looking forward to the home games. Like I love the atmosphere. I love the community, the season ticket thing without I'm sort of cheap. I hate paying for parking when you're there and like whipping out the credit card and paying 30 some dollars. Like the season ticket thing, it almost feels like you're going for free, which is how they probably want you to feel. But I really enjoy the atmosphere there. And I can't wait for the warmer nights and the beer garden and, you know, the live music outside, the Sons of Ben tailgate. Like I'm just more excited about that. I love soccer culture. You know, and I love that my wife, especially my kids too, but my wife, especially, like she's gotten really into it. And we're kind of having the thing that you guys are having here. Doing it. And that's really what we're having now. And she's so excited to put on her jersey and go to the games. And like, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, no, that's really fun when you can enjoy that together. I mean, certainly, yeah, we get that. And yeah, we look forward to it, you know, every time we go and, you know, the pregame and during the game and even post game, we hang out a lot of times afterward at at Union Yards or in the SOB
We're gonna have to
lot.
look for you guys. We'll have to look for you guys.
Well, you know, you can find us in the Sons of Ben tailgate usually for game. We're there like just the whole time.
So our usual game plan is usually around 4 o'clock. We're at the Sons of Ben tailgate, and then me and a couple other guys. If I'm up in the press box, we'll go up usually around 6 o'clock. We usually try to get up there around 6 o'clock, just to get set up, and then she'll do the marching.
That usually happens like at 6:30.
Cool. I saw it last night. It was cool.
Yeah. And
I heard the press box burritos last night were something. I heard that was like a thing. Like it was on Twitter. I saw a couple guys tweeting about how good it was.
Oh yeah, Jimmy King was tweeting about that.
Yeah, our buddy Jimmy was.
It was Jimmy.
Yeah, so it was funny. I was sitting there with Jose Nunez. It was me, Jose, Mike Barrera, and Todd Lewis. And Mike comes over and he's got his tortilla, and we're all sitting there eating. And he pulls out this whole pepper, and I'm like, yeah. It was really good. I mean, like it was what was the feast? It was
good for the Messi game too. I remember thinking like, wow, this is like really
I bet they did for that one.
Good spread.
I remember Kevin Kincaid said, like, of all the Philly sports, like the Union do it best, and I really do believe that because
they're super friendly about it too. Like the Union are really friendly to deal with. The Phillies are super friendly to deal with.
Yeah.
The Eagles are pretty friendly. The Eagles, the best restaurant, the best of all the food, though, the Eagles training complex, the NovaCare complex. I don't think they let you do it anymore. I think after COVID it changed. But there's like a cafeteria and you can like go in there and you can order. And they have like legit chefs and nothing's expensive because they're not looking to make money on it. They're just But there's this good. But yeah, the Union for the Messi game, I was like, I could get into this, man, but
Oh,
I don't cover the games like you do. So, you know, it was a treat that night.
no, I mean, it was Caesar salad, and then it was like the burrito bar, and then they had the cookies. And the one thing I will always say, and you need to experience this, is the cookies. The
Yeah,
cookies
they were telling me you
are
need to bring me a cookie, Kyle.
Well, you need to
Yeah.
like go out. You need to go outside of the press box, and then like you can like frisbee him off the thing.
Yeah.
yeah, you'll see me
Open
out
up your
there.
Isn't the Heineken deck right
So-
there? I'll just come up to the
So,
Heineken
Tim, if you
deck.
ever see cookies just flying out, that's me turning to get just.
Well, I'll tackle you for him because I want to. I want to.
Well, Tim, this has been a wonderful conversation.
I agree.
Tell the people, maybe for the first time hearing this, where can they find you?
I'm on NBC10.com. I usually cover Delaware. Weekdays, Monday through Friday. I'm also on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling, at T Furlong. Instagram at Tim Furlong 2, TIMFURLONG, the number 2. Threads, same thing. And it's a lot of my work stuff, but also some personal stuff. You know, family stuff and all that, and union stuff and whatever I'm just sort of into that day. So yeah, no, it's I look forward to meeting you guys in person. I look forward to meeting all your viewers too. And yeah, if you're around section 113, say hi to Tim and Megan Furlong. We'll be happy to fist bump and enjoy the game with you guys.
Yeah,
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah, we hope to see you there too next time that we're all there.
You got it.
Yeah, so for us at the One Team We Agree On, you can find us on Twitter at TOTWAG, on Instagram and Facebook at the One Team We Agree On, and also on YouTube on One Team We Agree On. We're on all your major podcasting platforms, Apple, Spotify, Google, and we also have a website now, the oneteamweagreeon.com.
And
So
we got some new articles coming out
Right.
here in the next 2 days, obviously covering the match from yesterday. That'll probably be out tomorrow, and then previewing Jim's presser
Mhm.
tomorrow. And look forward to the Saprissa match. And then update on the St. Baldricks event. As you all know, I'm going to be shaving my head again for Research for Childhood Cancer. We had a listener recently agreed to match up to $500 if I raise my goal to 1,000. So link is in the description, and any amount you guys can donate would be great appreciated. We'll be joining Jeffrey Mitchell and the rest of the Sons of Ben this spring. And
we have 2 more games for the Union this week, at home on Tuesday versus Saprissa, and then on the road at Sporting KC. We will be there on Tuesday, so come say hi if you're going to be there. And should be a little bit warmer, it looks like, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Let's do
Even though it's
great.
like an 8:15 game. On Saturday, we might be checking out a new venue in Lancaster. It is Beer Hall Brewing. It's off New Holland Pike. Used to
Yep.
be the Jukebox. And so apparently they're going to be showing all the Union games with audio. And so that's big because Lancaster hasn't really had a place like that.
We've been trying
So
for 2 years.
yeah.
That it's been like, it's kind of like one of these things, like we've been for 2 years trying to find a place for supporters here in 717.
Yeah,
So-
so we might check that out, and at some point we probably will. So if you're in the area, definitely you guys listening, check it out if you can.
And so that's all for this episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Make sure to subscribe, leave us comments. We love hearing from you. And if you have any ideas for future episodes or guests, please send them our way.
And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you at the game.